What a good day and good time to learn. In this presentation, we will present and teach on the lesson Functions and Relations. My name is Kimberly Crizal Talili, and I am the assigned reporter for Group 8 in Grade 11 Integrity. So, what is a relation in mathematics? In between two sets is a collection of ordered pair containing one object from each set. If the object X is from the first set and the object Y is from the second set, then the objects are said to be related if the ordered pair X and Y is in the relation. Relation is a rule that relates values from a set of values, called the domain, to second set of values, called the range. The elements of the domain can be imagined as input to a machine that applies a rule to these inputs to generate one or more outputs. Now that we know what is relations, how about functions? Function, in mathematics, an expression, rule, or law that defines a relationship between one variable, the independent variable, and another variable, the dependent variable. It is a relation where each element in the domain is related to only one value in the range by some rule. The elements of the domain can be imagined as input to a machine that applies a rule so that each input corresponds to only one output. We have now learned what is a relation and a function. Let us review. Relation again is when the domain has many connections to the range. For example, 2 is in the domain and it is related to both 8 and 9 in the range. Function is when the domain only has connection to also only one range. An example, 1 in the domain is related to 0 in the range. That is it. Now, let us know what is the definition of a function machine. Function machine, an imaginary device that receives inputs and generates outputs. A number input is put into the machine and is transformed into a second number output through the application of a rule. There are 4 types of relation that you need to know and remember. The types of relation are one-to-many, many-to-many, one-to-one, and many-to-one. X symbolizes the domain and Y symbolizes the range. Types of relation. All functions are relation, but not all relations are functions. One-to-one and many-to-one relations can be considered as functions. As you can see, in one-to-many, 1 is related to both 1 and 5. That makes it a relation. So is the many-to-many. In many-to-many example, 0 is only related to 9. That is considered a function, even though 5 is also related to the range 9. It is because the domain is only related to one range. There are also different ways of expressing functions and relations. There are 5 of them. Expressing functions and relations. Set of ordered pairs is composed of 2 coordinates, the x-coordinate or the abscissa, and the y-coordinate or the ordinate. In a set of ordered pairs, the domain is the set of all x-coordinates, while the range is the set of all the y-coordinates. The set of ordered pairs can be considered as a function if every element in the set is composed of different x and y coordinates, and no common x coordinates exist in the given set. The set of ordered pairs can be written as a table of values still composed of x and y coordinates. The x coordinates are written on the first row, and below are the y coordinates. We can transform a set of ordered pairs into a table of values and vice versa. In order to write a set of ordered pairs into a table of values, simply write all the x coordinates on the above row and write all the y coordinates on the row below. The number of columns depends on the number of ordered pairs, given +1 for the column of x and y. A table of values is a function if there are no common coordinates in the row of x coordinates. Mappings. Functions can be written as mappings in which the values on the left side, which represents the x coordinates, will be matched with the values on the right, which represents the y coordinates. Graph. The vertical line test can be used in order to determine if a graph is a function or merely a relation. How are you going to use the vertical line test? Draw a vertical line passing through the graph in the rectangular coordinate plane. Determine the number of points of intersection between the graph and the vertical line. A graph represents a function if it is impossible to draw a vertical line that intersects the graph more than once. If there is only one point of intersection between the graph and the vertical line, then the graph is a graph of a function. If there is more than one point of intersection between the graph and the vertical line, then the graph is just a relation. Equation. Functions and relations can be expressed by means of an equation. We cannot consider an equation a function if there is no y in the equation. The exponent of y is an even number. Y is in the absolute value symbol, and the relationship is not in the equality form. We have now tackled the lesson Functions and Relations. I do hope you have understood our discussion because we are going to test your wits. But first of all, let us have a quick review of our lesson. Again, relation is when the domain has many connections to the range, and function is when the domain only has connection to also only one range. A function machine is an imaginary device that receives inputs and generates outputs. The number that has been inputs is transformed into a secondary number through the application of a rule. Next, there are 4 types of relation: one-to-many, many-to-many, one-to-one, and many-to-one. One-to-one and many-to-one are considered functions. In different ways of expressing functions or relations. There are 5 ways: set of ordered pairs, table of values, mappings, graph, and lastly, equation. So are you ready to test how well did you understood the lesson? Let's go! We have 5 examples or activities for each different ways of expressing functions and relations. First, we will have the set of ordered pairs. We will answer it together. These are 5 examples of the set of ordered pairs. Determine whether each set of ordered pairs is a function or a relation. Determine the domain, range, and rule. Number 1. A is equal to 4 and 1, 8 and 2, 12 and 3, 16 and 4. Number 2. B is equal to -1 and 2, -2 and 1, -3 and 0, -4 and -1. 3. C is equal to 16 and 4, 9 and 3, 9 and -3, 16 and 4, 1 and -1. Number 4. D is equal to 1 and 1, 1 and -1, 2 and 2, 2 and -2, 3 and -3, 4 and 4, 4 and -4. 5. E is equal to 1 and 1, 2 and 5, 3 and 10, 4 and 17, 5 and 26. We will find the domain or the x and the range or the y. We will also find the rule that the pairs follow. You can pause the video to answer it. Now we will see the correct answers. Number 1 is said to be a function. Why? Because as we look at the domain, 4, 8, 12, and 16, there is no common or the same x in the set. The rule that this set follow is x over 4. Number 2 is also a function like number 1. The domain is -1, -2, -3, and negative 4, while the range is 2, 1, 0, and negative 1. And the rule it follows is y equals x plus 3. Number 3 is considered relation because, as we can see, 16 and 9 is repeated in the x of the set. That is why in the domain, only 16, 9, and negative 1 is written, and so is the same for number 4. The rule in number 3 is y squared equals x, while in number 4, y is x. Number 5 is a function, but it has no rule that it follows. Now we have 5 examples for table of values. Transform each of the following set of ordered pairs into table of values. Number 1. A is equal to 3 and 1, 6 and 2, 9 and 3, 12 and 4. Number 2. B is equal to 4 and 2, 16 and 4, 36 and 6, 64 and 8, 110. Number 3. C is equal to 1 and 1, 1 and negative 1, 2 and 2, 2 and negative 2, 3 and negative 3, 4 and 4, 4 and negative 4. Number 4. D is equal to 4 and 2, 4 and negative 2, 16 and 4, 16 and negative 4, 36 and 6, 36 and negative 6, 64 and 8, 64 and negative 8. Number 5. E is equal to 3 and 10, negative 3 and 10, 4 and 17, negative 4 and 17, 5 and 16, negative 5 and 16, 6 and 37, negative 6 and 37. The easiest way to answer table of values is determine the x and y of the set and put it in the table corresponding to where the row of x and y is. Always remember to put the row of x above always then the y. You can pause the video to answer it. Now we will see the correct answers. Here are the correct answers. Number 1. The x is 3, 6, 9, and 12, while the y is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 2. The x is 4, 16, 36, 64, and 100, while the y is 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Number 3. The x is 1, 2, 3, and 4, while the y is positive negative 1, positive negative 2, positive negative 3, positive negative 4. Number 4. The x is 4, 16, 36, and 64, while the y is positive negative 2, positive negative 4, positive negative 6, and positive negative 8. Number 5. The x is positive negative 3, positive negative 4, positive negative 5, and positive negative 6, while the y is 10, 17, 16, and 37. Now we are gonna have exercises about mappings. For each set of ordered pair, write it into mappings. Number 1. A is equal to 3 and 1, 6 and 2, 9 and 3, 12 and 4. Number 2. B is equal to 5 and 3, 6 and 4, 9 and 7, 10 and 12. Number 3. C is equal to 1 and 10, negative 1 and 10, negative 3 and 10, and negative 4 and 10. 4. D is equal to 2 and negative 2, 2 and 8, negative 7 and negative 5, negative 7 and 7, negative 7 and 8. Number 5. E is equal to 1 and 10, 1 and 20, 0 and 30, negative 1 and 20, negative 3 and 30, and negative 3 and 40. Reminder that 1 to 1 and many to 1 is a function, while 1 to many and many to many is a relation. You can pause the video to answer it. Now we will see the correct answers. Here are the correct answers. Number 1 is 1 to 1. The x is 3, 6, 9, and 12, while the y is 1, 2, 3, and 14. Number 2 is 1 to 1. The x is 5, 6, 9, and 10, while the y is 3, 4, 7, and 12. Number 3 is many to 1. The x is 1 and -1, -3, and -4, while the y is 10. Number 4 is 1 to many. The x is 2 and -7, while the y is -2, -5, 7, and 8. Number 5 is many to many. The x is 1, 0, -1, and -3, while the y is 10, 20, 30, and 40. We now have graph. Use the vertical line test in order to determine if each of the given graphs is a function or just a mere relation. Use the vertical line test. Again, the vertical line test is to have a vertical line and place it wherever within the given graph. If the vertical line remain having the same number of intersection, whatever you place the graph, it is a function. If it has inconsistency of point intersection, it is a relation. You can pause the video to answer it. Now we will see the correct answers. Here are the correct answers. Number 1 is a function. Number 2 is a function. Number 3 is a relation. Number 4 is relation. And number 5 is a relation. Last but not the least, we have the equation. Determine which of the following equations are functions and relations. For non-functions, state the reason why. Number 1, y equals x squared plus 3x plus 2. Number 2, 4x minus y equals 12. Number 3, x squared minus 4x plus 2 equals 0. Number 4, y is less than to 4x minus 2. Number 5, y to the power of 4 equals x minus 12. If you remember the rules of equation, you cannot consider an equation a function if there is no y in the equation. The exponent of y is an even number. Y is in the absolute valued symbol, or the relationship is not in the equality form. You can pause the video to answer it. Now we will see the correct answers. Here are the correct answers. Number 1 is a function. Number 2 is a function. And number 3, relation. The reason is no y in the equation. Number 4 is a relation. The reason is not in equality form. And number 5 is a relation. The reason is the y exponent is even. We have now reached the end of this topic, and I hope you learned so much by watching our video. Give us like if you like our discussion. Thank you and have a wonderful day.